For anybody else that's new to building their relationship with God and wants to start getting into the Bible but don't know where to start, I definitely agree. Like this person said, I wouldn't start in KJV. It just seems like unnecessary language. Start with a simpler translation like NIV, ESV, Amplified Version, NLT. And as far as where to start in the Bible, probably the most common answer is in the Gospels, starting with Matthew. So the Gospels were the 4 accounts of Jesus's life that were documented in the first book in Matthew, and then in Mark, and then in Luke, and then in John. Think of it as the same story that's being described in a different way. So like CNN, Fox, and CBS may have the same story, but there's slight variations of the same story. So there's a lot of overlap, sometimes different stories that aren't included in the other ones, but it's a great place to start to learn about Jesus's life. If you're somebody like me that just kind of needs to start from the beginning to understand the full context and you're serious about committing, then I would suggest start from the beginning in Genesis, from the first book, and then just go all the way through, basically chronologically. That's going to be tougher because you're going to have to get through a lot more complex details in the Old Testament before Jesus gets introduced. But if you're serious, you could start there. Where I started was Proverbs. It probably was and still is my favorite book in the Bible. It was easily digestible and very relatable. It's the book of wisdom that King Solomon wrote, who was the wisest person to ever live. And God basically said that he can have whatever it was that he requested of God. And Solomon responded, all he wanted was wisdom. And so then with that wisdom came all this success and abundance afterwards. But that was very relatable to me in my early to mid 20s when I was all about entrepreneurship and success and discipline and financial success. And it's basically the biblical personal improvement book. So that's where I started, and I suggest that book to a lot of other people that are high performing or want to develop their mindset or care about discipline and things like that. As far as my final recommendation of where to start, and I think the most effective, is starting with first finding a small group. Find a Bible study that you can connect with. So there is a leader that can thoroughly break down and walk through with you the scripture so you can ask questions. You could be held accountable to dive into the word. You can hear other people's perspectives. If you read a book once, it's like reading it once. But if you read a book once and share it with 9 friends, it's like you've read it 10 different times because you're hearing everybody's different interpretations. That's why my final and most effective suggestion would be start in the book or the section of the Bible that the Bible study that you join is in, so you can extract the most out of it, so then you can get more excited to dive deeper into it.